In the follow-up of my previous video about what is actually psychological abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, I think this one will be linked to the previous one, so look it up or jump in after if you want to. But of course, a clear example of mental abuse is, for instance, extreme yelling, shouting, screaming, and especially if you've been dealing with this since a young age, if this was, for instance, some of your parents or siblings or anyone, they often don't really realize this enough, but it is truly traumatic. It causes immense stress within, and well, if you're young, you cannot just escape. So pack your bags and leave when you're a little child. But over a long time, that really creates trauma. The change between, for instance, a parent that's kind, caring, loving, and the other moment can switch into extreme yelling, screaming, is as well for instance, a child already mentally, emotionally rough to go through. You lose trust in your parent. You become afraid of them, and again, it's traumatic. The next one, just an example of what often happens in relationships between friends. Well, it could as well be at work, colleagues, or a boss, or your partner. I mean, the closer you are to them, of course, the more effect and impact these things have. But that's, for instance, a silent treatment. It's an, incredible passive-aggressive way. In case you don't know those terms, Google it, for instance. But passive-aggressive, the word explains it already. It's just without showing any signs of being angry, emotional, frustrated, or showing any anger or aggression, becoming extremely passive. But it's passive-aggressive because you withhold communication, connection, love by providing a silent treatment, and it's very nasty. I think I rather would receive a punch in the face or anything, because it's clear. A silent treatment, well, some do it for a day or for a few days or some even longer, really leaves somebody constantly wondering what did they do wrong, rehearsing the past, doubting themselves, and this other person is just doing it to create a discomfort in the other person. But it's so much more stressful maybe than these people even realize. But secondly, if those that do this on purpose, it's devious. They know it's highly stressful, and many do it on purpose because they've also noticed that when they do this, the one who's receiving the silent treatment you're gonna automatically start to wonder. You want to make sure that the person opens up again, so you're gonna tiptoe around them, walk on eggshells. When they don't open up at that moment already, or just healthily after a few hours and just explain, hey, I'm sorry, I just need a bit of time, they keep doing that, it's just abusive. And they're as well just enjoying you because they see you struggle. Of course, they notice you're tiptoeing around, trying to find a way to understand what's going on and try to find a way to communicate or get their validation again, and they're just withholding it, knowing it keeps you on edge, knowing how stressful it is, and knowing that it actually makes you run harder for them, please them more. And well, if they one day just decide to stop their silent treatment, and then pretend as if nothing ever happened. That's is not, it's abusive, but it's as well like it's behavior of a 5-year old. So if whoever this is, your parent, your partner, your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, a friend, or your colleague, or whoever it is, does this, it's an adult or a little child in an adult body, and that's another clear example. And then, well, lastly, for today, gaslighting. The term, I think, refers to a movie made a long time ago. You can look that up. But gaslighting is truly about denying someone's reality, twisting the reality, making somebody doubt their own reality. There are narcissistic, bipolar, or borderline disordered people that can go very far with this, even if when you would just are just explaining something you did or happened or someone has said, they can just bluntly in your face tell you, no, that's true, it's not true, you're lying. I experienced this when I was actually stepping up and needed to speak to one of my parents about things that they need to stop doing. After I had spoken with the counselor I had at that time. And because it was, of course, not what they wanted to hear, for this, it was, I got this note like, that's not true, you're lying. That was a moment. It was so clear for me that I needed to step up. But it happens more hidden. It's as well when they are giving you a silent treatment, or when they have done something wrong, or when someone has been going behind your back, telling negative stories about you that are not even true, just to make you look like some sort of bad guy, actually to elevate themselves, because they're always afraid of the truth coming out about themselves. But when you try to speak about something, or when you try to resolve something, or when you would address a silent treatment, hey, can you please communicate? I really feel like stressed or uncomfortable when you do this. They can literally look at you like, what are you talking about? Or you're just imagining things. And you're like, well, at least they're speaking again, so you feel a little bit relieved, but at the same time you're doubting yourself, and you're like, oh, maybe it's me. Or, excuse me, when you try to really speak out for something someone did that they just say, oh, you should just take a joke, you're too sensitive. It's denying the reality of what happened. It's denying even the feelings you're having, and that's worse, because then you need to start doubting your own feelings. You need to start doubting the validity of those feelings, and it's extra pain. And secondly, you again did not be able to resolve anything, which is again suffering. And on top of that is they again stick a little dagger in your heart by telling you you're too sensitive, that you should take a joke, by ignoring you, by pretending it never happened. And there's so many more ways, but that's for the next episode. Gotta go now.